Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. For the old hats, I appreciate you stopping by. For the new people, I appreciate you locking in. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe. Now, everybody sees the thumbnail. Everybody sees that. Let me walk you through something. Stay with me. And I want you to understand this because this conversation keeps coming up. People think they understand it, but they're actually skipping the most important part. People keep saying America is a merit-based country. A merit-based country. Hold on. I'd rather be on camera. Hold on. Because I sure forgot. Oh, I had to fix everything. Okay, let me see. Let's get back on camera, shall we? Hello. Let's start all over again. So, people keep saying America is a merit-based country, right? They say if you work hard, if you stay disciplined, if you're talented, if you do what you're supposed to do, eventually you will rise to the top. You'll be seen, right? You'll be rewarded. You'll get opportunity. That's the belief. That's the story that you get told. And I get why people believe it because it sounds fair, right? It sounds clean. It sounds like the kind of system we all want to believe in and we all want to believe that we live in. Okay. But the belief only works if something very specific is true. It only works if the system is actually looking for you. Looking for you. And that's the part people forget. Because talent does not rise by itself. That's what people don't get. If you're smart enough, beautiful enough, everything else, you'll get noticed, you'll get seen. Okay? Talent does not move by itself. Talent does not leave your neighborhood, walk into a building, and introduce itself to the decision makers, the rich people. Talent has to be seen. So it has to be recognized. It has to be interpreted, and then it has to be chosen. And every one of those steps involves a human being. So let me say this clearly, and I'm going to come back to this again and again, right? If you have not been seen, merit does not matter. I'm going to say it again because this is the foundation of everything I'm talking about. If you have not been seen, merit does not matter. You can be capable, you can be disciplined, you can be ready for whatever comes down the pipe. But if the system never looks at you, you don't enter the conversation. And that's where the idea of a purely merit-based system starts to fall apart. This administration loves to talk about meritocracy. That don't work in this society. So the starting line they keep saying and talking about never was even or the same starting line, not for Black folk. Now you have to deal in reality. We're going to deal in reality. We ain't going to deal in theory. We ain't going to deal in white folk time. We're going to deal in reality. After World War II, the GI Bill helped build the American middle class. It gave veterans access to education and home loans. That's how families built stability. That's how wealth started to grow across generations. But that system did not work equally for all of us. Specifically for Black people, it didn't. Black veterans were blocked from those same opportunities in many places. Loans were denied, school limited access, systems at the local level made sure the benefits did not flow the same way to Black folk. In Mississippi in 1947, out of 3,200 households, only 2 went to Black veterans. 2 out of 32 home loans, only 2 went to Black folk. Now think about what that does over time. When the hell was we ever even back then that we can go back to merit-based institutions? One group builds wealth, property, stability, opportunity, and another group is locked out. Now, fast forward to decades, and people say, "Just work harder. You'll get there. You just got to work harder. You just got to study and blah blah blah." This ignores everything that built the difference in the first place. And we're gonna slow down, wait a minute, because this is where people don't get it. You cannot spend generations shaping who has access to development, money, time, attention, and then suddenly say, now everything is fair. Because what you're seeing today didn't start today. It was built. And if the starting line is different, then what we call merit later is already influenced by that difference. Merit is not just measured, it's interpreted. Now let's bring it to today, because people say that was in the past, we all even, we the same. They say today we just hire the best, just the best, we just hire the best. But here's where that data, what this data shows. When identical resumes are sent out, the only thing changed being the name, the results change. White sounding names get more callbacks than black sounding names. That happens today. Today. Same qualifications, different outcome. So what does that tell you? It tells you merit is not just measured, it's interpreted. And an interpretation is where that bias is. So now, this is important right here. When somebody reads a resume, they're not just reading facts. They are interpreting those facts through their own experiences, expectations, biases, and comfort. So when people say, you just use merit, what they're really saying is, trust human judgment completely. Let me trust your judgment completely. But human judgment is not neutral. And that means merit, as it is applied, is not neutral either. Let me show you this. Ending radical and wasteful government DEI programs and preferencing. Because this is where people misunderstand something very important. Mediocrity sounds fair. It sounds fair, right? It sounds like people who succeed earned it, and the people who didn't just didn't do enough. But what that idea does is turn inequality into something that feels justified. Because if you believe the system is fair, then you start believing the outcomes must be fair too. And that means people at the top feel like they earned everything completely on their own, and people at the bottom start to feel like it's their fault. But success is not just effort. It's also where you started from, what you had access to, who guided you, and whether the system ever recognized you in the first place. So what was supposed to be a fair system ends up reinforcing inequality instead of fixing it. Merit requires two things. Let me bring it back to something simple. For merit to actually work, two things have to be true. You have to be seen and you have to be judged fairly. If either one of those things is missing, you don't have a merit-based society. And I'm going to repeat that again because this is the core of everything. If you are not seen, merit does not matter. You have to be able to get into the room. Okay? And that is what DEI did. DEI got people into the room. If you don't get into the room, you cannot be seen. If you are not judged fairly, merit don't matter. So when people say, go back to merit, let's go back to merit, let's go back to merit. When the fuck has we ever had merit when it came to people, when they saw your color or saw your name? When was merit ever a part of what you did when you hired somebody black or wanted to hire somebody black or thought you were hiring somebody because they were black? So when people say go back to merit, the real question is, did we ever have a system where both of those things were true? Where you were seen and you were judged fairly as a black person? When did that happen? Let me show you another video. Let me show you a video, okay? Uno momento. I'm tripping. Hold on. Let me play the video.
And President Trump moving ahead with removing diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI, efforts in both the public and private sector. Right now, the White House says all existing federal DEI workers are on paid administrative leave. Federal agencies have been ordered to remove DEI websites and cancel all training related to the initiative. Trump also threatening, quote, strong action against DEI programs in the private sector, including possible civil compliance investigations. Tonight, I looked into workplace diversity statistics and heard from DEI consultants about the change.
Ultimately, it's not about what they look like, how they speak. It's about what's in their brains. It's about what's between their ears.
Suba Berry is the president of Saramount, a recruiting and consulting agency that works with more than 600 different companies to build what it calls a more inclusive workforce. And it all starts with surveys at each client's company, which they analyze.
Are women who enter into the workforce 50-50, are they rising at the same levels? And if they are not rising at the same levels, why?
Former President Joe Biden created the Chief Diversity Officers Council to oversee DEI efforts. The group's progress report for 2022 showed a majority of federal employees were white and male. All federal DEI programs came to a screeching halt, though, when President Trump took office Monday. But that may not be the case for private companies.
We have a pretty large database of clients, over 600 of them. And we did some basic analysis there. 80% of our partners, customers are staying the course. 10% are doubling down. 10% are backing off.
Again, while this order affects federal programs, according to ABC News, the president has not ruled out using the Justice Department to investigate private companies that continue to pursue training and DEI hiring practices.
Now listen to what was said. It's about what's in their brain. That sounds about right. Nobody disagrees with that. But here's the real question. Who gets seen as having value in the first place? Because if the system already has biases, then saying we're going back to merit doesn't remove that bias. It just hides it. And I'm going to say that again because this is important. It doesn't remove the bias. It hides the bias. Okay? Why DEI exists? This is where DEI comes into play. DEI is not about replacing merit. That's what goofy people think. You need to read. You need to study. This is what people think. Because you got somebody in my chat talking about, that's exactly what it is. Merit has always been at the core of hiring. No, it has not. Not for black folks. Stop it. Stop it. DEI is not about replacing merit. It's about making sure merit is actually seen. because without somebody pushing the system to look wider, more broader, it defaults to what has always been done. Familiar places, familiar people, familiar background. So DEI forces a question. Who are we not seeing? Who are we overlooking? Where are we not looking? And without that, nothing changes. Okay? Nothing is going to change. Okay. Let me show you another article. Let me see another article. Here we go. Let's move it up like that. Okay. So, this isn't just about theory. The people who actually hire HR professionals overwhelmingly support DEI. Most of them say it makes companies stronger. They say diverse teams solve problems better, connect with more customers, and retains talent longer. And even with pressure to remove DEI, most companies are not abandoning DEI. They're just adjusting it, but they're not walking away because they've seen what happens when you don't look wider for talented people. You miss people, okay? You miss people when you don't cast your net wider, okay? You have to, okay? So this is the point with DEI. Why DEI exists, okay, is to catch all of those people that you probably would not have caught if you did the status quo, okay? If the system has bias, if the system does not naturally see everyone, like if you, like this is the example I'm gonna get. I don't know whether it'll clear it up for people or not. If you got 100 people in the room and your spotlight, and the room is dark, and you have a flashlight, and the flashlight only flashes on 10 or so people. If you just pick those 10 or so people that your flashlight flashes on, because the whole room has smart people in it, but your flashlight only sees 10 or 12 of them, and you only pick those 10 or 12, that's not merit-based. That's you looking in the same place all the time because your flashlight has not been enhanced. DEI is an enhanced flashlight. It enhances the whole 100 of the people. It doesn't just show you the 10 or 12 people that a regular flashlight does. The regular flashlight is just a regular flashlight. The enhanced flashlight is the DEI that needs to be there in order for it to enhance the whole room. And then you see all of the people that have advantages. You see all the people that are competent and capable. You see all the people. You see the different, that's the context that you can put on it. A regular flashlight just shows you 10, 12 people flash, and you only see this part. You don't really see everybody. You can only say that spotlight only holds 10 people. But you put the enhanced DEI flashlight on, and that flashlight shows you everybody that is capable, everybody that's competent. That's the best way I can describe what DEI is. Okay. But if you say, oh, okay, this flashlight is good enough, that's it. We ain't gonna deal with the DEI, the enhanced the flashlight that will show us the whole room. That means that you're turning off that DEI. You're turning off the enhanced flashlight. So you only care about seeing the 10 or 12. You don't care about seeing the whole pool of people. That's the bias. If the system has that bias, if the system does not naturally see everyone, it has to be enhanced. And DEI is that enhancer. And it has to be on there because you miss all of these people, these other 190 people that are in the room. You miss all of them because you take the DEI filter off. You're supposed to see these people. not pick those people, see those people. If the opportunity has never been evenly distributed, or even the light has not been evenly distributed over the whole 100, then a purely merit-based system does not exist. And removing that DEI flashlight does not create merit. It removes one of the only tools that was trying to correct that visibility. So the real question is not whether we believe in merit. The real question is, do we have a system that actually sees everyone who has it? Because until we do, merit will always be uneven. There is no such thing as merit-based choosing opportunities, blah, blah, blah. And calling it fair will not make it fair, okay? People keep saying, okay, let's take DEI away. We take DEI away. So in my example, regular merit is 10 people deep. The flashlight only goes to flash the flashlight, boom, we got them 10 people, we just gonna pull them 10 people. But you got 90 other people in the room that ain't being seen. Put the DEI in place and the whole room gets seen. That don't mean you go over and pick everybody in the room, or you pick people with color. They also have to qualify, but you haven't seen them, because most of them are gonna say, it's only white people at the top. No, it's not. It's only white people that get A's and B's. No, it's not. You got a whole room full of folks that get A's and B's. And there's a whole room full of folks that might have other attributes that might be better than these 10 people. But if you turn off that DEI light and that filter, then you never get to see those other 90 people that's in the room. That's why I say, when people say, go back to the regular meritocracy, I hate saying that word. The whole hiring by merit, going back to that whole hiring by merit. If you take away the DEI, then you're not looking at merit. You're just looking at that one particular flashlight, that angle, and that angle is not good enough. When you're talking about merit based, it's never going to be good enough. Okay. This is wild. And I wanted to do this section. You didn't hear a thing I said, Black America. Here you go with here you go again with lowering the standards. I just explained it clear as day. Regular hiring practice show, if you got a room full of 100 people, the regular hiring practice just walks in the door and shows a flashlight of people. You may get 10 people within that flashlight glare. When you put the DEI handle on there, you put the DEI enhancement on there, it shows you the whole room. You have to be seen in order to be picked. If you're not seen, you can't be picked. So what makes you think those 10 people that are in that initial light are the best people? If you ain't seen the other 90 people in the room, it's a room full of 100 people. If the flashlight only shows you 10 of those, what makes you think all 10 of those are the best people? You need something to show you all of those people. You need something to show you all 100 of the people. You need something to show you. Listen to what I'm saying. You need something to help you see all 100 of those people. Once you see all 100 of those people, then you can say you're making a merit-based decision. But if you only come in the door and show your flashlight and see 10 of those people, that's not merit-based. And Black people have never been a part of that merit-based. Okay? You have to see all of the people that get straight A's. You have to see all of the people that pass the test with 100. You have to see all of the people, Black America. That's what DEI does. DEI shows you all of the people that get 100 on the test, all of the people that get past the background check, all of the people. You just don't take 10. Merit base is like, okay, I'm just going to take 10 people that get all A's in background. What about the other 90 people that's in the room? Bum Keisha is all the way out in Compton. Bum Keisha, straight A student, activities, all that. She's just as good as John Paul Jones over here, who came from a white rich family. She's just as smart, just as much capable. But because you took DEI off the table, she ain't being seen. You don't pull her into the program. You don't pull her in and compare her to John. Her and John got to compete. If Bum Keisha ain't in the room, Bum Keisha can't compete. That's what merit-based is supposed to be. But it's not that way because you don't see Bum Keisha all the way in Compton. You only see what's around. You only go to the local schools. You only go to Harvard. You only go to the military schools. You only go to military schools. You only go to the schools with high rates of they got computers in the class. They got all the money they need. You only go to them schools. If you only go to them schools, you don't see Bum Keisha, who does the same and is probably even smarter than these ones over here. You have to be in the room in order for merit to be applicable. And most of these poor, white, Hispanic, Asian, them people ain't in the room when you take DEI out of the equation. It has nothing to do with whether they're qualified or not. It has to be able to be, that person has to be able to be in the room. And that's what y'all don't get. Y'all keep asking, oh, DEI must mean we lowering the standard. No, you're not. You're opening up the whole door for everybody. Everybody in the United States, if it was merit, if you had a true merit base, you would open up every job, you would open up every qualification. You would open up the whole thing to everybody, to Bum Keisha's, to Jose's, to Juan, to Ching Chong. You'd open it up to everybody. And then everybody, as they disqualify themselves, they would be there. And then you would be there. And then you don't have no background. Okay, then you eliminate. You got a background. Oh, okay, you have felonies. You eliminate background. And then the people that are standing in front of you are the people who got there by merit. If you don't go to Bum Keisha's neighborhood, you ain't never gonna find out that Bum Keisha is a Rhodes Scholar. You ain't never gonna find that out. If that's all you do is go to the military academies in the United States, Bum Keisha may not even know how to apply to get to Harvard. Bum Keisha may not even know how to apply to get to UCLA. Bum Keisha may not, because of her school system and because of the people that's in the system, she may not even know how to apply to get over here. And she's smarter than these dudes over here in these well-prepped schools, in these military places. That's the fucking point of DEI, is to make sure that you see Bum Keisha. And you pull Bum Keisha over here and say, hey, Bum Keisha, now y'all on the same playing field. Now y'all got to compete. Let's see if you just as smart as him. Let's see. But that ain't what y'all see. Y'all see, oh, okay, we just pulled Bum Keisha. Bum Keisha wasn't smart enough. She wasn't smart enough. She ain't smarter than him. No, that's not how that works. There's no such thing as a merit-based society if you don't see everybody. If you don't see everybody and you don't make them compete like everybody else, then that's not merit-based. Because some people have the assumption that white males, white females, X, Y, and Z are smarter than black folk. And as far as I can see, every time we done got in a situation, us black folk done excel. So it's not a matter of intelligence. It's not a matter of that. It's a matter of access. It's a matter of access. You have to have access to these. You have to have access. These recruiters, these basketball recruiters, all of them, they go everywhere. These basketball recruiters go everywhere. Why is it that they don't go everywhere when they got to go to school, when they put them in school, when they put them in business college, when they put them in Harvard, when they put them all that? Why they don't go everywhere like that? Because these basketball people go everywhere. Tell me I'm lying. They go to the smallest fucking school on the universe. They go to the smallest fucking school that's out there. These people need to go to the smallest fucking school, the most ratchetest school, the most ghetto school. They need to go there and find those people too. And if you don't go there and find those smart people too, then you're not doing merit-based. Basketball, football, those are merit-based places. Those are merit-based jobs. This outside world, outside of sports, outside your physicality, that's not merit-based. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna hear no arguments about, well, they getting it because they just want to give it to a woman or they just want to give it to a black person. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. DEI is going to find that smart person, and that smart person coming and proving themselves. That's what that is. But that's just me. You guys put it in the comment section what you think about the video, because that's how that works. And I don't see it going back to being a merit base until we have that bias out of the question. You have to be seen in order to qualify. Okay? And you guys know I'm telling the truth. When you go here and you don't go out there to Bum Keisha to the ghetto, you're not finding Bum Keisha. Bum Keisha may be just as smart as these dudes right here that go to the fucking military schools. She might be just as smart, but you don't know that because you don't go all the way out there, okay, to find her. That's what DEI does. DEI shines a light on the whole room, not just 10% of the people. Please put it in the comment section what you thought about the presentation. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys.